Well, I don't think it would be fair to have a Parasite month without explaining what parasitism is. But I want to make the subject a little less boring, so I'll be using TF2 to explain it. So let's move on to the first part. Before I move on, I should first explain what symbiosis is. Symbiosis is the relationship between two organisms. There are three types of symbiosis. The first is mutualism. This is where both organisms benefit from working with each other. An example of mutualism would be a heavy medic combo. The heavy benefits from heals and a buff from either crits or uber, and the medic benefits from having someone to protect him from enemies and to destroy sentries, making the area safer to traverse. Sometimes such a partnership becomes so strong that two organisms can't live without one another. Then there's the commensalistic relationship. In this relationship, one organism benefits, but the other is not harmed yet gains no benefit. This would be like the medic healing a sniper. While the sniper can benefit from the heals that the medic gives him, the medic really doesn't gain much pocketing sniper, though it doesn't really hurt him either. Then there is the symbiosis in which this video is about, parasitism. Parasitism is when one organism is harmed while the other benefits. This would be like a medic healing an enemy spy. In this situation, the spy benefits from the medic's heals while disguised, but will end up killing the medic if the medic stays unaware of his identity, harming him. There are various different ways in which parasites function. One of the less disgusting versions is brood parasitism, but I will touch on that later. I think it would be better to explain parasites that feed off of their host first. In nature, there are usually 6 types of parasite stages, excluding brood parasites. These 6 strategies are parasitoids, parasitic castrators, directly transmitted parasites, trophically transmitted parasites, vector-transmitted parasites, and micropredators. If the spy was a specific parasite, he would be a parasitoid because these parasites usually end up killing their host once they develop. Think of it like this. The spy is the parasite species, his health the parasite's development, and the medic the host. When the spy is at low health, early development, he will use medic in order to heal himself. Over time, the spy will be healed, and once his HP is full, he will end up killing medic. However, like how this isn't the only strategy spy has to benefit from an enemy medic, this isn't the only strategy of parasitism. An example of a parasitoid in nature would be the tarantula wasp larva. Parasitic castration is when the parasite stops the reproduction of an organism, like when the spy gets an enemy medic to uber him. A micropredator is a parasite that will have multiple hosts during its life. The best spy-related analogy for this would be a chain-stabbing spy. I don't have any footage of this, I suck with spy. Then there are the transmitted parasites. These parasites can either enter trophically, vectorially, or directly. To best describe this parasitism, think of a dead ringer spy feigning death, then sneaking into an engine nest and sapping everything in sight. Even within these 6 strategies, there are even more strategies within these. One of the better known ones is social manipulation. It's like a spy tricking the team into letting their guard down. Lastly, there are endoparasites and ectoparasites. Endoparasites would be like a spy who hides within the enemy team, while an ectoparasite would hide out waiting for the enemy team to pass by. Now that I explained this type of parasitism, I think I should explain brood parasitism. Brood parasitism is when one organism, usually a bird, makes another animal raise its offspring. So what TF2 analogy am I going to use in this moment? Pyro versus soldier. Let me put it like this. Soldier is the host in the host's legacy, the rocket and egg, Pyro the parasite and the parasite's legacy, and the air blast eating and replacing the egg. Let's say Soldier is blowing up the enemy team, doing what soldiers naturally do because the time has come for him to blow up the enemy team. Then one day his rockets come back to bite him in the ass. This is thanks to Pyro's air blast. This ability to air blast, like a brood parasite's ability to mimic eggs, makes things easier for the Pyro, while using the soldier's own tools at his expense. However, Pyro won't have it easy, and this is where we get into a subject that all parasites, even those who aren't brood parasites, have to deal with. Parasites of all kinds have to fight back against their host, believe it or not. Let's use the brood parasite example. Now, a soldier isn't just going to let the pyro reflect rockets without coming up with a different strategy. In the animal kingdom, the host strategy is to throw out the bad egg, while soldiers would be to aim his rockets in a way where the pyro can't reflect them. The host will never just bend over and let the parasite take over. The host will eventually begin to evolve ways to fight off parasites. And it doesn't end there either. In response to the host fighting off the parasite will evolve in order to fight back. This evolutionary war of host versus parasite won't end at all. Even when a battle is won, the war still continues. The same goes for TF2. In fact, we are waiting for something that had to do with a battle now. But that is a subject for another time. The real question is, how did this war even start? For this section, I'm going to downplay the analogies for a bit. How did such parasitism evolve? Who knows? For years people thought that the existence of parasites was an anomaly for the theory of evolution, so using the theory of evolution in parasitology is a relatively recent thing. However, scientists are slowly solving the mystery of parasite evolution, inch by inch. One interesting thing about parasite evolution is their phenotypical plasticity. As I mentioned earlier, a parasite won't just give in to the host fighting back. This plasticity allows a parasite to develop faster when there is an immunity. There are still questions to be asked, like how did such an ability evolve in the first place? The answer still isn't clear, as there aren't many transitions that help us see where such behaviors evolve. The best transitions found that help us understand the evolution of parasites are transitional fossils like Sauropythorus exquisitus, which helps explain flea evolution. Brood parasitism has a different path, but like the other forms, it isn't easy to crack. One of the oldest hypotheses is that the brood parasites today were once birds that had no choice but to lay their eggs in another bird's nest to make sure their legacy wouldn't die out. However, this hypothesis has been contested. Most of the criticism comes down to the lack of an explanation for nest selection. Another question to answer about brood parasite evolution is how the host birds just don't kill the parasite offspring once it hatches. One hypothesis, known as the mafia hypothesis, tries to give an explanation. This hypothesis states that the offspring has evolved techniques in order to make their host take care of them despite the fact they just damaged their legacy. And to make matters worse, parasitism has evolved independently but parallel to each other. For example, brood parasitism isn't just found in birds, but insects like the cuckoo bee and fish like the cuckoo catfish. The evolution of parasites is largely a mystery. I could say some of my ideas, but those would be just so stories. That and I ain't even in school to become a zoologist yet. But I think I made you guys bored, so here are some clips of me getting killed. Well, that's parasitism in a nutshell. I really made this video because next month I want to do a TF2 theme for my animal info. Well, I'm MetaZ and I'll see you next time. Hey, MetaZ here. Hey, now that you finished the video, why don't you like, share, comment, subscribe? You know, everything you're supposed to do with a video. I also have some social media that you can, follow in the link below. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Wait, I already said that. Alright, bye.